Hey, good morning, neighbors. This one's about biological uptake, elemental pathways into organisms, how things work. Little precursor idea. The World Health Organization, decades ago, because of thyroid cancers and nuclear fallout, studied iodine in the human body, normal iodine, the iodine we grew up with, and then iodine 131, one of the isotopes from nuclear reactors, nuclear fallout, nuclear waste, iodine 131, just one of them. So decades ago, they looked at this iodine, and iodine is an essential nutrient in almost all life. It's a micro necessity in our life. So the World Health Organization said we should put good iodine in salt and in other foods. It's called, what's that called when they do that? Fortification, food fortification. Like niacin is added. Was discovered, learned about, related to the health effects and the studies of health effects of pollutions, including nuclear. What happens is when these particles are released, now this applies to all pollutants. This isn't just nuclear. This is all pollutants. We study how they accumulate in organisms because they do. Nuclear fallout leaves cesium, more than two, but two isotopes of cesium basically on the landscape. Those isotopes of cesium look exactly like a calcium to the human body, to the chemistry involved in building cells for the human body. Calcium builds your bones. Calcium lives in your body for a long time, stays in your body. What we've done is studied how long all of these things hang out in your body. It's called, some of it's called Halflife, or it's just biological uptake studies. It is also the expulsion of these things from our body. We constantly regenerate. We replace cells in our body. You can go find out information about that. But it needs to be replaced with healthy materials. So in more polluted environments, people are exposed to more of these pollutions. Their uptake pathways are higher. Maybe it's the food sources, maybe it's the air, maybe it's dust, maybe it's in the water. And it isn't just nuclear waste, it is DDTs in a community's drinking well water. It is PCBs sprayed on roadsides for years in the Carolinas while I was there, and the stories surrounding that, and the whole town that was closed and evacuated because of PCBs sprayed on the roadways. We learned about these things. These are uptake items that have time in your body and affect other things. Biological uptake. The nuclear sites, the nuclear waste sites, the plants around them are uptaking these materials. I use cesium as one of the isotopes out there, but there are others from these nuclear follies that we do. The truth is, there's a lot to this. If you remember when the swordfish and top species fish, there were warning labels on them about lead and mercury in the fish. That lead and mercury happens to be mostly from burning fossil fuels and the fallout over decades and generations now of it getting into the food chain at a low level and organisms larger bioaccumulating these materials because they have a persistence, they have a time in the body, and your body is not great at flushing these back out. That's iodine 131 goes to your thyroid, concentrates in your thyroid. It's better to have the good iodine there. So there's no need for that other bad iodine, but your thyroid constantly uses iodine. It's used throughout your body. So what do? Another story about iodine. One of the reasons that forests do so well by large water bodies with fish is when the wildlife native to the area eat the fish, their poop spreads iodine across the forest floor that helps some of the plants grow. Good iodine, bad iodine? That's a good question. We learn these things. We know how to go measure them. That's biological uptake from a soft touch perspective. That's why the trees, the forests near a nuclear disaster site, when they burn, release radioactivity. It's in their cells. It's inherent. They have been sitting on that land for longer than human generations now. Some of these plants, they've been there that's all they know is that whatever area it was. Whether it's the middle of the city, like Paducah, or some of the other sites that have been surrounded by civilization in suburbia, or if it's out in the desert and you can't see it and don't know it. Is it harmful? Is it? It's a good question. Some folks have ideas.